40% of women that have had abortions have had 2 or more. 40%.
Good for them.
So what is that?
She said good for them. Oh my gracious.
Those opportunities. I think equity can buoy the pre-existing system that we live in a good way.
And this is where we're going to get to what I think the real feminist arguments are based off of policy. And abortion is the biggest one.
How many of you would identify as pro-choice? Let's do a show of hands for pro-choice.
I feel like pro-choice is pro-life, though. Yeah.
Okay, and folks who identify as pro-life, why do you identify as each?
You've gone from legal, safe, rare to, yeah, I'm so proud, let me beatbox in front of a Planned Parenthood. Yeah, I got murder on my mind. The fact that—
Oh my God. You better, young lady, let me tell you something. Whoever you are, you're the one.
that it's celebrated that murdering children, especially in late-term pregnancies, is celebrated, that people are so proud of themselves for mutilating a fetus is just, it blows my mind. And I don't think that you need to be pro-life to even take that stand.
You said late-term pregnancy.
Yes.
A lot of abortions do not happen
I made
in
the
late-term
distinction.
pregnancy.
I made the distinction specifically because lots of people still celebrate. There are people who, when the laws were passed actually here in New York, they said, yes, great, yes, I love the fact
but
that—
you need to ask about what are people celebrating, right?
Maybe she do know what they're celebrating. Maybe she sees exactly what they're celebrating. Maybe you're about to try to feed her what you believe they're celebrating. And she already see from her own periphery, her own scope, her own vantage point of what they're celebrating.
Right? They're celebrating access.
Well,
We're not celebrating
that's okay.
killing kids. Like that's
But
not what
then
it
why,
is.
Well, so this is what I'm saying.
So like, here's the thing. When we're talking about access to reproductive health and to abortion rights, right, and to being pro-choice, listen, that's your body, you do you.
The child is not your body.
That's your body, you do you. That's your body, you do you. Hey, ain't no Bible verse called "That's your body, you do you." It ain't one. I don't care. Go look. It ain't one. Hey, you do you is not, no, at all. At all.
As I go. A baby.
It's so scary for me to hear people calling like guns the biggest equalizer for women, but taking their choices away from them at a policy level.
Why is that?
Having a gun is an equalizer.
It is.
Having rights is an equalizer.
Yeah, that's
Having
a right.
choice is
Right.
an equalizer.
Just like a gun right.
And in this country,
41 forms of
the
birth
policies
control.
that are pushed
41.
to continue perpetuating patriarchy and anti-women, like—
She said, just like a gun right. You about to have some smoke from your own side, because the black lady was actually on your side until you start talking about you don't like guns. Like, you just going deep in the hole right now. You're like, look, y'all try to say that.
Taking the autonomy away from women, it is heartbreaking to see women pushing that propaganda. It's all brainwash. Like you.
Oh, it's brainwash because you don't agree with me.
No,
so
I've
therefore
been
I'm
brainwashed.
brainwashed.
I have lived deeply institutionalized.
Man,
I have lived under Islam. I'm not interested.
You hear that, right? She went, in order to prove that she had more of a right to talk about it, she had to give her record of victimhood. So now, the person that has the most say in the room, if you believe in that whole feminism thing, you go by who has the most oppression. Like the lady in the wheelchair said, the physically handicapped lady said, oppression is power. She said that. But when she's talking to somebody and she's forced to speak on her own power, she wants to use that oppression that she just called power, but now as a weakness. So it's only a weakness to help further her agenda. It's a power on the low that they use, and they get real loud while using it in order to get what they want. So that's what I'm understanding it as. If you're understanding it as something different, feel free to let me know.
In any of that, like, there's no like.
You're not interested in human.
No, I'm not interested in like
living,
thinking that like women are doing this really bad thing. Like in my religion, abortion is actually allowed. If the woman needs it, she's allowed, because you know it's very interesting how like fundamental America is. Like fundamentalist.
This is nothing to do with like even religion. This is very
conservative
basic
thinking.
Scientific human rights.
We're also talking about people not having access to abortion clinics where they're doing the things themselves and they die, right? We're also talking about women in the hospital who are pregnant, who have chosen to stay with their pregnancy and have issues at hospitals, and hospitals that are like, oh, no, we don't do that. Listen, for whatever reason, you don't need to explain it to anybody, but a lot of times when we're talking about access to reproductive health, for me, I'm thinking about Black, Indigenous, people of color, particularly women and girls who are working class, who do not have even access to like proper sexual education. It's the oppressive state of saying, I will force you to have a child even against your own will, right? Especially when you're thinking about women and girls who would be forced to have these children who are already living in very traumatized and scarce situations. You want to ask about barriers? That's a barrier right there.
Women in poverty.
Ooh, you want to ask about barriers? There's one barrier. I think I thought of one. Dang. I said it was many of them when you asked me it the first time, and I couldn't name one. But now I think I hear one. I think there's one in there somewhere. I just now told a story, and it's one in there somewhere, a barrier. I believe that if you use it all and say it exactly the way I just now said it, and don't mess it up, don't mix it up at all, it could possibly be a barrier. All right, so I think I answered your question. I win, you lose.
Aren't able to access the way that rich women are, and no matter what happens, rich women are gonna keep getting abortions, and people in poverty are gonna not. And the choice, opening it up, the overruling is marginally affecting people of color, people in poverty, way more than people who are going to get access to those abortions.
Actually,
anyway.
incorrect. You're the misquote. There's actually more abortions for people in poverty. It's just at a lower rate.
Why do you think that abortion has been so tied up in this feminism conversation?
It's all just social structure set up around bodies. So if not all women are able to have babies, but it's about the barriers and value that we give to these specific bodies, right? And so if abortion happens in a woman's body, that's why this conversation is coming up.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You said that not all women are able to have babies or pregnancies. Are you saying, meaning like an infertility issue?
A number of reasons. There's all kinds of reasons that not all women are having babies.
Pearl, I saw your hand up. Yeah.
I think women want to sleep around and not have any consequence for it.
Hell yeah, we do.
Yeah!
Yeah, instead of, taking personal accountability and being on birth control, they just want to like do whatever they want.
That's facts. But when you put that mirror into anyone's face who don't mind being irresponsible for fun, it does not feel good. It's like when somebody go to pick up a drink and you're drinking another, I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere. They be like, why you ruining the whole buzz, bro? Like, why you getting in my business?
You say this like it's
I
a
think
bad
that's flipping.
thing.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like you said.
Can I also ask, do you have any care to empower women, or is disempowering women part of your, steez?
To see this as shame, insult, guilt, need to be right. Okay. Why is it empowering to sleep around?
Get her, Pearly. Get her. You better get her, Pearly. Get her.
No,
Why is
what
that
I'm
empowering?
saying is, I feel like you do, take, the way
Why
you
is it
speak on
disempowering?
women is very sort of women just don't want to do this. Women just don't have this. Women just want to this.
maybe I should
And I
change my
wonder
term.
why
Maybe I
you
should
have
say-
so much, hatred towards
I
women.
don't hate
Where
women.
does that root in? It
I don't
sounds
hate
like
women.
you do.
I am a woman.
That
I
doesn't
don't.
mean you don't
I
have
could be
self-hate.
black and still be internalized racism.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
her.
saying specific things that you're saying, like women don't want to work, women don't want to this, women want to sleep around. Where did you learn these belief systems from?
Because, the question was, why does abortion keep getting brought up? 40% of women that have had abortions have had 2 or more. 40%.
Good for
so,
them.
So what is that?
She said good for them. Oh my gracious. Good for them. Yeah, it's their body, their choice. Good for them. If I was able to have an abortion, I would. I would. I'd be right in there.
40% of women that have had abortions have had 2 or more. 40%.
Good for
so,
them.
So what does that say to me? That means you're using it as a form of birth control, and they don't track the 60%.
What kind of abortions?
Can you let me finish? They don't track the 60% to say who in the future has abortion. So to me, it's like, why are they dying so hard for abortion? They want to sleep around with no consequences, even though you have 41 forms of birth control.
Now, only thing the people who want to focus on the oppression part want to focus on, they want to focus on the people who are impregnated by molestation. That's what they want to focus. The people who have health issues, that's what they want. Don't tell our business when it comes to our irresponsibility. Let us be irresponsible. We are women. We should be able to do what we want with our bodies. That's that look right there. That's that look she's giving her, like, I cannot believe you are telling our business. Can you please shut up? You're telling our business, Pearly. After this show, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Ooh, you say that one more time, I'm gonna slap you into the back row. She already in the back row, but she don't like her right now. Like, she wanna choke the hell out of her right now. She really wanna just quiet her right now. She want to ask her to go to the back, just talk to her a little bit, and she want to ask her if she needs to use her handkerchief. But she's going to pour a little bit of chloroform on her handkerchief, and then she going to knock pearly things out. That's the look that she has on her face. She does not like pearly things, and she want to change seats with somebody. She wish she can change seats with the lady that's sitting inside the wheelchair because she already has a seat with wheels, but she don't care. If she have to be disabled not to sit next to this lady who keep on making her feel small by pointing out exactly what's going on in that community, because she's nothing but giving inside information, and that is triggering them. They're like, can you please shut up? This is about us. This is our opportunity to get what we want. We got to complain and get what we want. And she's like, no. Be more responsible. How about that? They don't like that.
Who does that benefit? I don't think that benefits women. I think actually that benefits men, because it means that men can have sex with you without consequence. It means that you can sleep with whoever you feel like, great, but there are consequences because women are the ones who get pregnant and carry babies and give birth.
It's very binary version of
yes,
sex.
because sex is binary, but please let me finish my point.
Oh, God.
It's tricking women into thinking that aborting a pregnancy, terminating a pregnancy, is something to be celebrated, when in reality, for a lot of women, especially those who are doing it under duress, say that they've been raped, or that, you know, in the small circumstances where something really traumatic has happened to them, that's a medical decision. Or say that they're miscarrying and then they have to, you know, have an assisted termination. That's a medical procedure. It's not a celebration of, oh, look at the.
The idea, the sort of like moral setting of that it needs to be rare is, I think the delineation between that's a medical abortion and that's like a fun abortion is really interesting, because they're all medical. It's all a medical procedure. And so no matter what you're doing, going in there and getting it, like it's not like, oh, you're only allowed 2. It's just like, you should just be able to get a medical procedure done when it's something that you need done.
We shouldn't be desensitized to taking someone's life. That should never be an empowering factor for a woman.
I definitely agree in that, like, there should be no absolute thing any woman should do. There should not be an absolute response to incest or rape or any of these things. Every woman should have the choice of if they want to or not want to.
You know what? I don't agree. Listen, when this lady talk, I'm gonna let you know something right now. She's attractive. That's it.
Carry that child.
That's all I had to say. She's attractive. That's it.
Whether it is having fun, getting raped.
She'll annoy the hell out of me.
Raped, incest, whatever it is. I don't glorify and glamorize abortion. I think it's a very traumatic thing. I doubt that if somebody has to do, like, if they have to do it, they'll do it. I don't think that people are like, you know, doing like have 6, get the 7th free and having fun with it. And I think that like glamorization and glorification of any side is not okay.
Did the Dobbs decision make anybody here sort of rethink abortion access, reproductive health care?
It's anti-woman, right? It's it does not center people to have that voice for themselves and their own decisions, right? It is a barrier, right?
It's
if we want to put it that way.
It's giving more.
She's still trying to answer that question. Yeah, she is so pressed to answer that question because now she got a little bit more time. What's it been so far? 30 minutes? 30 minutes since she was asked the question? Yeah, she got a little bit of time.
More agency to women because it's moving it back to the state level. So locally,
But why would the state have the ability to tell me what to do?
Because it does in
women
multitudes
have
of
that
different
power.
areas. If you take out the viewpoint that life begins at conception, which is a really big defining principle for both the pro-life crowd, who very, very, vehemently believe that, and then obviously a lot of the pro-choice crowd do not believe that. Taking that out of the equation, you do not have just whatever kind of autonomy you want as a person. It's regardless of male or female. You can't just have free run to do whatever the hell you want. That's not how society operates. So
At no point do I have the right to tell anyone in this room what they should or should not do with their bodies.
But it's not about your body. It's not about
me respecting.
I have a question here.
It's not about your body. It's about the kid's body. I don't care what you do with your body.
It's my body, right? We're talking about my body.
You're talking about
Jordan, I saw your hand creep up.
The Dobbs decision for me reinforced how important it is that we approach these issues from a cultural perspective, because it reinforces something that I have told many of my colleagues and peers in the past, which is that so long as you lack a cultural consensus, any issue can become a political football that can be decided by another election cycle. And so long as there is no strong consensus, I would expect this to be our reality going forward, these extremely vitriolic and aggressive conversations until there's another miraculous consensus that brought about Roe v. Wade. But what it more or less reinforced for me is that we're going to have more of these difficult conversations.
I want to talk about transgender issues. Should trans women...
Yeah, I was wondering when they was going to start talking about transgender issues, because they had a guy speaking about women's issues, and I don't think that there was a place for him to do that, in my opinion. Sorry, I just don't think that there was a place for him to do that. Now that they're talking about trans issues, feel free. Now it comes into the, what you call it before, feminine expansive persons or peoples, the feminine expansive peoples. All right, so that's what we're talking about now. Okay, all right. Hopefully I didn't offend anyone by saying what I just said.
Women be included in feminist conversations. How about in women's spaces?
Yes, they're women. What's the question?
Pearl,
Trans women are women.
So I want to come at this from the position of an athlete.
Oh, Jesus.
So I play semi-pro basketball, semi-pro volleyball. So when it comes to like athletic spaces, I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces, because I don't think it's a fair. I think as female athletes, we.
Hey, yo, check out the look on her face, on this one's right here face. This one right here, she gonna look at. Did y'all say is this a trans person too, or is this a woman? Okay, I don't know. Listen, so when this one looked at, when she started talking, when Pearly Things was talking, this one looked at the person that was asking the questions. It was like, oh yeah, I got the next one. I'm on this one. This is mine. Oh yeah, she done started something she don't know how to finish. She just now wrote a check that her ass can't cash, and I'm gonna do it. Look at this right here. You gotta see this look. Watch this look.
So when it comes to like athletic spaces, I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces, because I don't think it's a fair.
Look at that look. Look at that look on her face. She is ready to tear. About to tear the, man, let me tell you something. Let me say it's about to give Pearly Gates the business, Pearly Things the business.
I think as female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
Would this be a barrier for
like
you?
There's no barrier. There's less opportunity in some industries.
That's what
one
a
of them.
barrier is.
There's less. It's not. No. It's
That's
based
what
on the
friction
market.
means.
Okay.
Hold on, guys.
Okay. So again, we work very hard for the little opportunity there is in the
They still living on that daggone barrier thing.
space. Because we're not as entertaining as the men. Sorry, we're just not. And so it's like you're gonna take the little opportunity that we're given. And the problem is, like, we can't compete. We can't. Like, I'm 6 foot. If I go up against a 6 foot guy and I play basketball with him, he's gonna body me.
And what happens if I go up against you?
Even if I have years more of training. And so it's like you're taking away the little opportunity that we're given and we all work so hard for, and you're just giving it back to biological guys. It's like this will be the end of women's sports.
Now, that's facts, because there has been trans people who have been winning these in track. They've been placing one in swimming. They've been placing number one, winning the gold medals. But there's been different reports of high schools where a boy will beat a girl out and as the queen of the school and all that other stuff. I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on with this, man. But I'm just here to listen and learn. I'm not saying anything, man. My name is Bennett.
Have you tried confidence?
Eli, hold on, Minnie.
Sorry,
Eli.
confidence can't make me bench what a guy benches.
I don't
Confidence can't
understand why
make me
you guys
6'7".
are so hostile. She's sharing her
And
experience
confidence can't make
in
me
a
6'7".
specific
No, she's
field.
sharing
And I'd have to
misogyny.
go.
No, she's
yeah.
not. She's a woman who's had
No,
an
it's always-
experience.
it's always-
One at a time.
You guys
We
are
let
so
Pearl
obsessed with your
finish.
own experiences and your own existence, and yet when a woman is sitting here telling you, I feel as though this is unfair and this is compromising and this situation is not helping women, you guys are like, meh, meh, meh. But when you're like, I'm a black person that did this, 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 and this, then it's valid and fair and viable.
Eli, I want to give you the chance.
That's facts. That's facts. Why didn't you address that before? Why didn't you address that? The host should have addressed that right after she said that. That was worth touching on. This right here was worth touching on, but they just skipped through it for some reason.
This, and this, then it's valid and fair and viable.
Eli, I want to give you the chance to respond.
They didn't even try to hide the edit. Come on, Vice. Come on, baby. Come on now. That was real telling. I don't know if y'all saw that. And then look, there's probably some people that's watching this that's getting tired of me talking, but that's what I do on these reaction channels, on these reactions that I do. I run my mouth, okay? All right. So when the young lady, and I forgot her name again, when the young lady was speaking and she was taking up for Pearly things, the host did not address anything that she was saying. She just then decided to cut and go straight back to the person who wanted to touch on the trans issues. That's what now, could it have been because, she started the trans rights conversation and it went over into a women's conversation again, and the trans person that they had there or the trans people, I don't know how many people are there, were feeling left out, so she just wanted to hurry up and get right back to that. Okay, what you're saying makes a whole lot of sense, and they was getting extremely upset with just Pearly Things for talking and simply saying what she went through as an actual athlete out there on the field. Like, and they wouldn't listen to it. They're like, that's just misogyny. That's misogynist. You're trying to introduce some misogynistic stuff into this conversation, and we don't want that. We just want to talk about feminism. Please leave that misogynist stuff out. She's a woman talking about her own personal womanly experiences. But they like, nah, we don't want to hear that. Shut up. Don't want to hear it. That right there, I think, was unfair. And that host, she had an opportunity to make it right, and she decided not to. She just decided to say, look, okay, what was we talking about before?
So this is basically a joke of a talking point. Everyone has biological advantages in sports. How tall are you?
5'11" and a half. I'm tall.
I'm 5'8". I am a trans woman.
There's a trans woman. There's a trans woman.
You would crush me. You would absolutely crush me.
Bone density, wrist strength.
Yeah.
Muscle density, you can't switch those.
Yeah, exactly. You would crush me.
But also, Eli, you would never play at the level that Pearl plays because you would never get there.
So let me give you a few more examples here, too.
That's true, too. That's not a good example because you would have not gotten to that level that she was playing in. She is 6 feet, and when you're playing basketball, if you are 5'8", you have to be extremely good. You have to be one of the best players on the floor. Period. But you're male or female. Well, females not so much, but when you're a male, god dang it. Okay, so that one was a daggone trans man. Okay, that's the trans. Is it trans man, trans woman? What is it? It's trans something. It's trans something.
So Michael Phelps produced more lactic acid in his body, which caused him to swim better than any of his competitors. This was widely celebrated, and nobody contested it. Now, this is a performance-enhancing hormone. So we all have different bodies. And now I'm not saying that trans women who aren't on hormones should participate, but there are, I mean, every major medical and every major sports organization agrees that trans women who have been on hormones for between 1 and 3 years, depending on the organization, have the same competitive abilities.
The study that you're referencing had like 7 people participated.
That's misinformation, by the way. I'm referencing several different studies. I'm a trans woman and a researcher.
It's getting personal. I don't want it to be personal.
A lot of us live in this space where we're...
It's getting personal. I don't want it to be personal. Lady, were you missing the other 30 minutes of the daggone interview? It's been personal. They've been attacking Jess Pearly things for the whole time she's been opening her mouth. Am I missing something? It's been personal. It got personal a long time ago. But now that they're starting to say things about the trans community, oh, it's getting personal. We can't go there. Ixnay, ixnay, ixnay. What's that about? I want to hear more about that one, because that right there, it's just some telling stuff going on in this video. It really is.
Told that our opinions don't count because they're not the right kind of opinions, and we're constantly shouted over and talked over regardless of what we look like, because there's one group in society that basically takes precedence, and it's frustrating. So yeah, of course, it's frustrating because when we try to talk about it, we get shouted down, we get told to be quiet, we get spoken down too as well. So
Okay,
there's hostility there for plenty of women.
Let's try to make this an opportunity to speak.
You're literally a white woman from Australia.
Is the host a man too? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be rude, okay? All right.
Yeah, you live in a bubble and you're pissed that voices that have been silenced forever finally can be heard.
That's why they have the voice, because they speak up.
Okay, we're having a conversation about transgender women participating in sports, and I wanted to allow more people to participate. Jordan, I wanted to hear from you.
So I am not a professional athlete.
Duh! I'm not gonna say how I didn't listen. That's I see. I said duh, and that's wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. That was wrong. That was wrong. You can look like that, and you can still be a professional athlete. There's many other, I'm trying to think of some sports that maybe you can be in, but like I don't know, maybe jigsaw puzzling and dominoes, professional spades, professional chess. You could be a chess player competitively. Now those type of sports, I don't mind. I don't care if men compete against women in those sports, because it's all about the mind. You see, it's all about the mind. When it's about the mind, the mentality, anybody can compete against anybody. But when it becomes physical, you got to make sure you consider what's naturally possible and what's not. If you don't consider those things, you're setting yourself up for failure, man. That's what you're doing.
The closest thing I have ever done to anything athletic was I used to...
Darts, bowling. How about darts and bowling? You can do that. You can definitely shuffleboard, shuffleboard, pool, you know what I mean? You play pool, curling, do some curling. What else can she do? They do? I don't know what their pronoun want to be. You can play golf, you know what I mean? Competitive eating. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was wrong. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I said that. But, baseball, boxing, you can even box. Like, you could be that. So my bad for saying that you couldn't play sports. That was my bad.
To do competitive show choir when I was younger, and I don't feel really qualified to make carte blanche statements about whether or not trans women should compete in every kind of sport. And I understand that is that's a hard pill to swallow. And for me, my first inclination is to approach everything through a lens of inclusivity. But at the same time,
nobody will see, if you're talking about sports, and that's the problem. If you're talking about sports, get that out your damn mind. That's the problem right there. If you are a teammate a serious sport, if you're a teammate of a serious sport and you're a coach of a serious sport, inclusivity is not one of the daggone things that they're trying to meet in order to have that championship team. Can care less about it. When it becomes serious, when sports become serious, inclusivity is out the window, okay? When you're a child and you don't want to make the kids feel bad, that's when you have inclusivity. When you want to give them little trophies for nothing, for not winning, or give them certificates or stickers with smiley faces and little suns and rainbows on them and stuff like that, that's when you care about inclusivity. When you're talking about serious sports, sorry, it's no longer about inclusivity. It's about execution. It's about your athleticism. It's about a whole bunch of things that you need to consider because it's serious, because it's getting people into college. It's getting people into high school where they can compete and possibly receive scholarships. I'm talking about full paid scholarships. Because their swimming is so on point that if I continue to swim in front of these scouts that's coming out to see me, I can very well get a full paid scholarship to any college to go swim there. But then if you introduce a boy because of inclusivity, you're doing it because of inclusivity, which again should not be even considered when you're talking about serious sports. But because of inclusivity, you include the boy, and the boy is there amongst a whole bunch of young ladies who are serious about their craft, who work hard as hell in order to do what they do. And was killing at first. And now that's not the case anymore because you just install somebody who they can't compete with. Physically, they can't compete with.
I also can't speak accurately to every kind of sport and the different things that go into it. So I really think in these instances, the decisions are best left up to the professional governing bodies that dictate these particular sports.
I just feel like in places, as an ally, in places where there's no understanding, we can just respect and not really, like, our opinions don't matter.
Eli, I saw you nodding your head over there.
Several times.
You let her, you didn't let her cuss and everything. You didn't say, this is getting personal. Can you stop? This is getting personal. Why did you let her cuss? Because she's on your side, huh? Yeah, see, I know what the game is.
So this is more than about sports. This is about free and equal participation for transgender people in social life. And the right sees this as a socially acceptable way to begin to remove trans people from different engagements in our society. So it does just start with sports or bathrooms or locker rooms, something that they find is more acceptable. And then at this point, they started to move into education, getting trans teachers fired, banning trans books. This is a route that is very effective because it's seen as more acceptable. But it's also overlooking a lot of major details. Like, I mean, do y'all know how many trans women have won national titles?
One too many.
One. It's Leah Thomas is the only one.
One too many.
If one too many?
Yes, one too many because it wasn't competing against daggone other trans people. It was competing against natural-born young ladies. That's why one too many.
If women's sports were actually going to end in some way, I mean, it's just not happening. Wouldn't you think there would be more trans women in sports when the majority of states do allow trans women full participation? International titles, zero. No global titles have ever been won by a trans woman.